Hey everybody, I'm John Reams, an exercise physiologist here at NICPAD. And today we're going to be performing an upper body workout focused on improving the muscle strength in the 4 muscle groups of your upper body: chest, shoulders, back, and arms. I'm training with a couple of friends today and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, my name's Ben Tomlinson. I'm a C6 complete quadriplegic. My injury is the result of a gunshot wound sustained during special operations in Afghanistan with the U.S. Marine Corps 14 years ago.
Yeah, hi guys, my name is Clayton Brackett. I'm 32 years old. I've been injured for 30 years now, and yeah, I'm happy to get this workout going with you guys.
We're going to perform each exercise for a duration of 1 minute, and then we'll take a 30-second rest period in between each of those exercises. During that 30-second rest period, I'll explain the next exercise to you and demonstrate it. We're going to be doing different variations of the same exercise. Hopefully, you'll see something that mirrors at least relatively closely the way you move and something that you think is appropriate for you to follow along with. The first exercise we're going to do is what's known as shrugs. We'll leave our arms hanging at our sides and we'll try to use the muscles of our shoulders and our upper back to elevate our shoulders as far upward towards our ears as possible. You can move at whatever pace you like, but the key factor here in improving muscle strength is going to be controlling the movement in both directions. You don't want to use momentum, you want to avoid swinging your arms, and really try to dial into the way it feels when the muscle groups for that exercise are engaged. I've got a timer here that's going to let us know when to exercise and when to rest, and I'm going to start that now. And here we go with shrugs. So, trying to really focus on the muscles of our shoulders and our upper back, an effort to raise our arms as high, or our shoulders as high as possible towards our ears, and then lower them. Don't just let them drop. Instead, really try to control the movement in both directions. If you find that one side of your body isn't as cooperative to this movement as the other side, you can do one arm at a time. You can do both together. It's perfectly fine if both sides don't move with the same range of motion. Most of us don't have completely symmetrical movement on both sides of our bodies. We're closing in on the end of the minute, and that's the end of that exercise. The next exercise is going to be for the chest, reverse flies, where we'll try to bring one or both arms together up from our sides, forward, and together at about chin height. The function of a lot of the muscles in our chest are to raise our arm and pull it across the front side of our body. Here we go with the minute. Trying to really extend your arms as straight as possible. Push your hands, and if you're using wrist weights or dumbbells, push those as far away from your body as possible, all the way up and down. You see, we're doing different versions of this exercise. Where are you feeling this movement, Clay?
Mostly in my, I'm not totally sure what that muscle's called, but interior.
Yeah, the anterior deltoid.
Yep, thank you.
How about you, Ben? Where are you feeling it?
Upper chest and front deltoid.
Yeah, and that's the majority of where the force to produce this movement is going to be coming from. So we're going to try to keep an equal number of movements focused on the front side of our upper body and the back side. There's the end of that exercise. The next exercise is what's known as goalpost. Starting with hands at our sides and palms facing back away from us, we're going to try to raise our elbows up as high as possible and then rotate our hands up above our elbows to where palms are facing forward. Then back down and hands at your sides again. We're going to get into this exercise now. So, elbows up, hands above the elbows, hands below the elbows, and back down to your sides. Again, we're trying to really avoid using momentum, trying to control the movement and the added resistance from the wrist weights or the dumbbells, whatever you're using, in both directions. Trying to make sure that we're lifting and lowering the resistance as opposed to the weight dictating how we move. This can be performed with one arm at a time. It can be performed moving both arms at the same time. Again, you probably will find that you've got different ranges of motion on either side of your body. There's the end of that exercise. The next movement is going to be medicine ball slams. We're going to pretend that we're holding a heavy medicine ball in front of ourselves, and we'll push it up overhead and then bring it back down. Push it overhead and bring it back down. A couple of options here could be pushing the imaginary ball overhead and then slamming it downward with straight arms to either side of your body, or pushing straight up. Here we go with the exercise. We're into the minute. We're going to raise and lower that imaginary medicine ball, trying to push it directly overhead, trying to avoid pushing it forward and up, and instead think about pushing it back and upward, directly over our head. We're about 30 seconds into this. I'm going to show you the variation where we can imagine slamming that medicine ball downward to either side of our body. So this movement's a little bit more ballistic in nature, meaning there's a little bit more force that's getting generated from the range of motion, and it's going to bring some of the core muscles into play, controlling that forward motion. Here's the end of that minute. Next movement's going to be focused on the muscles of our back. Those muscles function in large part to pull our arm into our body, pull our elbow behind our body, and turn our palm to face upward. So, to mimic this rowing motion, we can use one arm at a time and start with the palm facing back, pulling that arm up into our hip and turning the palm forward, or we can do both hands at the same time, or both arms at the same time. I'll turn sideways a little bit so you get a slightly different view of what we're trying to accomplish here. So really trying to think about that idea of using the muscles on the back side of your upper body to pull your arm into your body, your elbows behind your body, and turn your palms up at the same time. How are you modifying this, Ben?
I'm using my opposite arm to brace myself when I lean forward so I don't fall forward, and then contracting my muscles on the normal side.
How about you, Clay? Are you feeling this in your back? I wouldn't say I'm feeling it in my back necessarily, but also I do work out a lot. So, but yeah, definitely focusing on pulling my scap together.
Yeah, definitely around the scapula. That's a good point. That's the end of that exercise. The next exercise is going to be a clean and press style movement. So we'll raise hands toward our shoulders and then drive them up overhead. Lower them back down to the sides. We'll raise them up, drive them directly up overhead, bring arms back down into the body, and then hands back down at our sides. All right, here we go. Again, both arms at the same time is one option. One arm at a time is another option. Here, think about trying to use the muscles on the top side of the front of your arm to pull your hand toward your shoulder initially, and then using your shoulders to drive that hand up and overhead. Same idea as the medicine ball slams. You want to try to really focus on driving the weight directly up and back overhead. Try to avoid pushing it up and forward or ahead of your body. Excellent. It's the end of that exercise. We're closing in on the end of the workout. The next movement is going to have us bringing one arm across the front side of our body toward the opposing side hip, and then in a diagonal motion, raising that arm up and outward as much as possible. Again, you can do one arm at a time. You can do both arms together. We'll show you different variations. Here we go with that movement. I'll start with both arms moving at the same time. Try to really stack your ears over the tops of your shoulders and stack your shoulders over your hips when you're doing any of these overhead motions. Try to avoid leaning forward. Try to avoid allowing your hips to be pushed behind your chest or your shoulders. Really dialing into that idea of stacking the ear over the shoulder and the shoulder over the hip as you perform these overhead movements. That's the end of that minute. The next exercise will be for the biceps, the muscles on the front side of our upper arm. The function of the biceps is primarily to elevate our hand to bring it towards our chest. So I'll encourage everybody to try and turn your palms to face forward as much as possible. Push your small finger and your ring finger forward as much as possible and make as tight of a fist as you can. From there, try to keep your arms in close contact with your body as you raise your hands upward as close to your shoulders and your chest as possible. Think about the position that the rest of your body's in while you're doing this. Try to keep the ear stacked over the shoulder and the shoulder stacked over the hip. Try to move at the same deliberately slow speed, upward and downward. We're trying to avoid momentum and instead really engage these muscles in what their primary function is. That's what'll let us isolate them, build tension in them, and hopefully take them to that point of fatigue. The next exercise is going to be for the back side of our upper arms, the triceps. To perform this, you can get into a forward-leaning position, either supporting yourself with one arm and then pinning the elbow of the opposing arm into your hip and focusing on straightening that arm as much as possible from the elbow. Or you can do both hands or both arms at the same time, whatever works best for you. I'll turn slightly sideways again so you get a different view. And when you get into that position of having your arm extended as straight as you can get it, try to really pause there for a second and tighten the muscles on the back side of your upper arms. Again, we're trying to build as much tension in these muscles as possible during each minute of exercise. Try to avoid letting your elbow travel away from your hip. Try to keep the inside of your arm as close to your ribs as possible. Almost at the end of the minute. And the final exercise is going to be punching. This is going to bring a lot of those movements that we've done into one practice. We'll perform 2 straight punches, 2 hooks, and 2 uppercuts. If you can, try to engage in each of those 3 different ranges of motion. If those different ranges of motion are things that you feel like aren't appropriate for you, just throw punches as rapidly and as forcefully as you can. Try to really punch toward an imaginary target. So straight punches, hooks, and uppercuts. Straight, hooks, uppercuts. Trying to throw these combinations of punches with force. Think about coming into contact with an imaginary target that's in front of you. Extend those arms with the straight punches, rotate your hips with the hooks, and rotate your hips with the uppercuts. You can throw all 3 punches with one arm and then switch to the other arm. You can throw combinations from side to side. You're almost there. And that's the end of the upper body workout. How are you guys feeling?
Good. That was
Good.
Nice little warm up.
Good. I'm sweaty, but I'm old and I'm weak. They're not. So I hope that there was something here that you guys found meaningful for you. If there's something here that you like, please comment on the video, like the video, and subscribe to the NickPad YouTube channel.